Bedford-Stuyvesant has two middle-class communities of the old city of Brooklyn. Bedford, the western portion, and Stuyvesant Heights is the east. Today, Bedford-Stuyvesant is one of the city's two major black enclaves. The southern and western portions comprise masonry row housing of distinguished architectural quality, and churches, hall spores contribute to the area's frequently lacy skyline. The northeastern reaches have considerable numbers of wooden tenements containing some of the nation's worst slums. Bed-Stuy has a reputation that doesn't fit with reality. A stable community with hundreds of blocks of well-kept townhouses where Bedford-Stuyvesant has distinguished architecture. It is very good. Its facades with brownstones and brick fronts create a magnificent townscape as good and sometimes better than fashionable areas of Brooklyn and Manhattan. This is 232 Hancock Street off of Marcy Avenue. It was created in 1886 and it's its Queen Anne style. Its construction is brick and stone and it's a house as its function. Its architect is Montrose Morris. Parts of Chauncey, Decatur, McDougal, and Mackin Streets and the southern end of Stuyvesant Avenue are superb. Handstock Street between Nostrand and Tompkins, as well as Marcy, are considered a showcase of its time. Alice and A Courts, isolated mechanism of streets, and red bricks and painted stone. This is the Boys High School. It's a major Brooklyn landmark in splendid Romanistic revival. Arts pointed and towering and lustily decorated in terracotta in the manner of Louis Sullivan. The architect was James Norton, and this is 832 Marcy Avenue between Putnam and Madison. It was built in 1891 and completed in 1892. Its style is Romanistic. Its construction is red brick and terracotta. Its function is a school. Today, Brooklyn Heights is known for a variation of architecture as much as its affluent residents. Since Manhattan city dwellers first crossed over to Brooklyn Heights, forming New York's first suburb around 1820, the architectural design that line each side of the street of the historic neighborhood have been categorized by rich style and beauty. Notice the different types of architecture styles from the different migrators. We have Gothic, Celtic, Romanic, the Mayan, square shapes, the tomb-like shapes are present on this block. This is Bedford-Stuyvesant. This is 129 Jerusalem Street. Its Romanistic revival was popular among the mid-19th century through the turn of the century. A preserved example of the Romanistic style may be found here between Henry and Clinton Street. It was designed by C.P.H. Gilbert in 1890. This 40 feet wide romantic structure uses limestone in its lower portions, which is against a yellow Roman brick in the upper portion. The center section is categorized by a massive stoop, which leads to a wooden double doors with wrought iron accents. Magnificent stained glass-based windows protect from destruction from above the entrance. Also next door on the left of Jerusalem Street is a Mayan Aztec inspired building with brick window panes made of brick as well. Stop. This is Willow Street. Inspired by the classical human scale architecture of the early ancient Greek revival architecture reflected the pro-democratic sentiments that swept the nation during the post-revolution era. This style often employed a column, portico, door frames, pediments, and recessed doors flanked by palaces. The residents at 20 through 26 Willow Street are examples of Greek revival styles. We're now in Prospect Park, off of the Ocean and Park side, on the side entrance. I believe this piece to be of ancient Egyptian influence and architectural design due to the characteristics. It's similar to a lot of Egyptian temples. This, however, is, I would say, it has Corinthians or columns, and it's also a Parithon, I would say. The temple, I would say that this is kind of like a temple, and it has columns that go on the side. It was Corinthian, and what you see like it has capitals on each top of the columns. There's no actually background information for me to even find out what's the name of this, but I know that it's some of that on the outside I would say Doric because it has a shaft with no base, but then in the middle is Parathon. So it's kind of like you could say that it's Athens as well. Yeah. The Flatbush Reformed Protestant Dutch Church. The Flatbush Protestant Dutch Church, also known as the Flatbush Reformed Church, is a historic Dutch Reformation, now a member of the Reformed Church in America at 890 Flatbush Avenue in Flatbush neighborhood of Brooklyn, New York City. The church consists of church, cemetery, a parsonage, and a church house. The 2.5-story Federal-style church building, designed by Thomas Garden, was constructed in 1792 and completed in 1798, and is the third church building on the site. It features a stone tower of the stained glass windows are by Tiffany windows. Are by Tiffany Studios. The building was constructed of Manhattan architecture, and the architecture includes Romanistic features such as arched windows and doors, as well as Tuscan columns. This is the cemetery. The cemetery is the last resting place of the members of the Dutch families of Flatbush. The earliest grave marks date 1754. The 1853 parsonage is a 2.5 wood frame house, which is in the back. That's a wood frame house, which is removed. The church house is a 2.5, that's it over there, 2.5 red brick and limestone building, designed by Myers in the colonial revival style, erected in 1924. It was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1982. Began a new building campaign to meet the needs of the new student population. This academy building still stands in the courtyard of the current school, served the students of the Erasmus Hall in 3 different centuries. Now a designated New York City landmark and listed on the National Register of Historic Places, it is the first high school. Erasmus High School, Flatbush and Church Avenue, also called the Mother of High School, began as a small private academy in 1787 with an enrollment of only 26 boys. It was the first secondary school and is chartered by the Regents of the University. Around it are 3 stone